Hello everybody, my name is CulBlu and I'm bringing you guys a random match. I'm not too sure what tournament or what event this is for, but this is just a video that I upload. I had a friend of my friends who said, hey CulBlu, can you cast this match that we're doing for a tournament? I don't know the name of the tournament or anything, but can you cast the match? I was like, yeah, sure. That will be fine. Oh, okay, that's cool. I'm down with that, you know, I'm down to cast. Was it D2C? I'm D2C. I'm hip. Guys, I got this. So anyway, we're just waiting for the loading page to go through. I'm not too sure how long it's going to take to load. There we go. Okay, everything's loading. And it looks like I was the one who's holding it up. CulBlu's here. CulBlu's here. Don't worry, guys. It's fine. Anyway. So we have a 5-sided mine versus AutoBot5, and I'm going to be rooting for a 5-sided mine. Maybe. Oh, wait, no, sorry, wrong team. AutoBot5. You guys didn't hear that. Because the person who invited me to cast this match was, and I'm all out of bubblegum. You can't see his full name there, but that's what it says. And they go for the bans, you know, they're going to put it on fast. We got a bristleback first ban, Death Prophet banned as well. Two very powerful people that you don't want to let get in the wrong hands. This is the updated version of Dota as far as the tournament edition goes. So the new nerfs slash buffs are in. So bristleback does have his damage nerfed. I think Death Prophet she got her silence changed, and she also had something else reduced. I forgot what it was. OD, he has something else nerfed, or he has something nerfed. He had to have, because he was popular played. Anyway, I need to go back and read my patch notes. I don't remember everything verbatim, but I do know that Timbersaw is being picked up by AutoBot5, because I'm like a prophet of who are they going to be who's going to be getting picked and whatnot. And it's also obvious. So actually, let me make sure I get my settings all straight. See, audio, open mic on, so everybody watching in Dota TV can hear the sultry sound of my beautiful voice. Which I like to think my voice is beautiful. That's what helps me sleep at night, guys. But we got a VS first pick on 5-sided mine, and I'm actually very excited to see what they go for now. VS first pick is a very bold choice, especially when you ban out a Clockwork. Clockwork, he's really nice at counter-initiating those fights. So by 5-sided mine, banning out a Clockwork and picking up a Vengeful Spirit, that tells them they want to be like ultra aggressive. They might have a Crystal Maiden and a Vengeful Spear for the support. They go for a Chin, so they're going for some early game push slash some more early game aggression. VS, once she hits level 6, and she'll be able to swap people out and get some better initiations. Once she hits level 11, it's pretty much over. Then she can initiate whenever the heck she wants. That extra range you get from swap is actually quite ridiculous. Swap level 1. Swap level 1 is sad for the most part. If you guys have a good visual of what Drow Ranger's range is, she has a range of 600. The swap for Vengeful Spirit is 650, so it's just a little bit above that. And to put that in even more perspective, Vengeful Spirit has an attack range of I think 400. So all in all, her swap range at level 1 is very crappy. Level 2 definitely needed, so you can actually get to that, and she needs to get level 11. All that said, if they do play like a super aggressive strategy, Vengeful Spirit is probably going to be hard pressed to actually get to level 11, to be honest, because usually if you play heavy aggression, you're going to play more 5-man, 3-man, 4-man Dota, as opposed to like the standard 2 people roaming around, maybe 1 person farming and whatnot. So we'll just have to wait and see. The picks on the side of AutoBot5 though, they seem a little bit more sustainable. They got the Timbersaw to run either the mid or the suicide lane, likely going to be mid. He should be able to survive a Chin gank, because Chin can show up with the Centaurs and do all the stumps he wants. Timbersaw will just derp on to the tree as he Timber chains to it and just be safe. Reactive armor stacks will also help him stay alive as well. And a Venomancer for the pickup for either support or mid. You can run Venomancer mid. I do not like it personally because I don't think it does all that much and it doesn't do all that well. But Venomancer does get some nice dots, and it's really nice. And we see the bans on the side of 5-sided mine going more towards that. We want to have as much, or we want to get all that stuff that just destroys teamfight off the map. Weaver, he destroys teamfight more or less in a technical fashion. He's just being evasive and not able to be focused down on the easy. Like, you have to have a lot to lock Weaver down. So having him banned out means that they can have an easier time going for these team fights and not have some annoying little bug just Sakuchi all around and get all the right clicks he wants. Faces Void, drop a Chronosphere, he kills everybody. The new Chronosphere is intact in this update, so that means when he pops Chronosphere, he moves at like a 1000 move speed, which is actually really funny. It's really hilarious. It's like a blood seeker when he smells blood from three people, but it's only in the Chronosphere bubble. It's kind of funny. The only time I've ever seen was actually an ability draft, and Spearburger had Chrono, and he ran away a few times, and it was frustrating. Anyway. So Faceless Boy are going to be banned out, and also his
Team
his evasion for Faceless is pretty annoying to deal with, especially when you're trying to go for kills and just like dodges all the big nukes. It's just frustrating. On the side of AutoBot5, they ban out the Slark, they ban out the Alchemist, and they also ban out the OD. I didn't speak too much about the OD, but let's put that behind us. Slark and Alchemist ban out. Alchemist, very, very powerful person, even still, despite the nerfs. Actually, no, the nerfs, they might finally put him in the place where he needs to be, which is he's either played as a super hard support or a super hard carry, no more ambiguity. And the main reason for that is because his stun for Unstable Concoction, if you're playing as a support who's going to transition to a carry, is really risky to use now. It was risky to use before, but it's like a 1.5 second reduction in how long you can charge it up, and it's makes it a very dangerous thing, because if you stun yourself as an Alchemist, like you reveal yourself and you stun yourself as an Alchemist, your pretty much going to die from the enemy team. Of course, given the circumstance, but you guys know, in general,
10 seconds remaining.
And also having his night vision range reduced. I didn't realize Alchemist's night vision range was 1400, which, to put that into perspective, everybody has a vision range of about 800. So that means that Alchemist had an advantage of 600 vision range, which, oh my gosh, guys, boom, perfect example right there. Alchemist has had a vision range advantage over everybody in general, except for a few heroes who have 1800. Of 600, which, keep in mind, Vengeful Spirit Swap, going back to what I said before, has a range of 650. So basically, Alchemist could see Vengeful Spirit before she can swap him, and he can get a stun off. So there you go. That just lets you guys know how crappy the range on level one Nether swap is. Anyway, all that behind it. Alchemist has less vision range that night, so he'll actually need some assistance to actually go for those kills, or he will actually need somebody to hold him down first, so he can actually get a stun off. And also, this charge doesn't keep charging, or the stun, Unstable Concoction from Alchemist doesn't keep charging while it's flying. So anyway, all that was going a super long way to say that if you play Alchemist as a support transition to a carry, you'll likely end up feeding a few times. If you play as a carry transition to support, you probably won't go for Unstable Concoction anyway. So having him banned out, I mean, there's no more ambiguity, but he can still play either support or carry. Just a little bit harder towards one or the other. Anyway, Nature's probably picked up on his 5-sided mind. And we also got a Tiny. We might see a Tiny Wisp. I really do hope AutoBot5 do have the open mindset to actually ban out the Wisp, because if they don't, it'll actually make me a little sad. Because Tiny Wisp, it just destroys everything. Tiny in general, he can go late. Lifesteal can go late versus a Tiny, but I don't know if Lifesteal will actually be able to survive Tiny. Tiny will just have enough raw output as far as damage goes to actually stop Lifesteal in his tracks. But then again, Lifesteal, he should be fine as far as going for the kills with Tiny, just as long as he has Rage intact, because that craggy exterior will be the bane of Lifestealer once Tiny gets to his like level 16 and Lifestealer gets to level 16. We see a pickup on Rubik as well, and Rubik will be nice to have versus a Tiny and also versus a VS. Rubik can steal that all sought after Tiny stun, and he'll actually have the mana to use it. Same thing for the VS stun, he'll actually have the mana to use it. It'll be really nice if he can get those. But one ability that will also be nice for him to have will be the Treants from Prophet or the Teleport. Those would be two really good spells as well. And of course, Chin, he can get the call, or he can get the recall for Chin, and yeah, blah. But, I mean, it's not as impressive as getting a stun for Tiny. I think that's the biggest target ability for Rubik to pick up on. But it will be difficult because Tiny usually throws out his Avalanche and then toss, so Rubik has to time that well and not be the one getting stunned up. Puck is going to be the ban off for 5-sided mine, so Wiss is most likely going to be the last pickup. It's obvious thing to me, but maybe they want to go for something else. Maybe Rubik, or sorry, maybe AutoBot5 have something to counter the Tiny Wisp. And actually, no, 5-sided mine decide not to go for the Tiny Wisp. They forego it. They maybe were trying to bait out a ban for Wisp, so they're gonna go for a we know what we're doing Tiny build, and we might see a mid Tiny, which I haven't seen in a long time. AutoBot5, they ban out the Dragon Knight as their last ban, so they won't have that solid mid to go push things away and just be super tanky and just kite Lifestealer to death. Actually, I'm very interested, or very interesting thing to note is that despite the fact that AutoBot5 picked a Lifestealer, you see essentially no counter picks on 5-sided mine. So I mean, we'll just have to wait and see how 5-sided mine decide to deal with the Lifestealer. Yeah, you have a Shadow Shaman, he has his Shackles, but Shadow Shaman Shackles versus all the stun from Rubik and Pudge, I mean, it's going to be a difficult thing for him to deal with. So all that aside, if we see the people picking up their heroes, we'll wait for these people to get into the game, and then we'll do introductions, and we'll be on our way to casting for another day. I can make those rhymes, because I got the times. Would you like some limes? Here's some mimes. Oh, okay. I'll stop. I'll stop, guys. I'm sorry. I apologize. I don't know. I've been trying to be productive today with homework, and then like YouTube, and then Dota, and then YouTube, and then Netflix, and then I did homework for like 2 minutes, and then
It was
YouTube.
time to prepare for battle.
Anyway, so let's go ahead and do introduction. Starting on the side of the Dire, starting off with this Nature's Prophet. We see Captain on him. Moving over to this Tiny, we see the Bunny on Tiny. On this Chin, we see Lord Sherbert of Hades. Good stuff. Moving over to the Shadow Shaman, we see Tramia, or TP Tramia on him. Shout out to you, TP Tramia. He didn't want me to record. I was like, no, I'm going to record anyway. And he was like, no, CulBlu, don't do it. I was like, okay, fine, I will do it. He's like, no, CulBlu, do it. I was like, okay, cool. And yeah, well, I mean, it was more exciting when it happened. It's a good story, guys. Sorry, leave me alone. Moving over to this Vengeful Spirit, we see G.I. Jew, the American Hebrew. That's a little funny. Moving over to the side of the Radiant, starting off on this Pudge, or Autobot5. On this Pudge, we see Seeker on him. Moving over to this Venomancer, we see Vinny on Veno. He's going to be going for what looks to be a farming type build as opposed to support. Moving over to this Rubik, we see all out of bubblegum. So he's obviously ready to go steal some spells. Moving on to this Timber Cell, we see Arbordine, and last but not least on this Life Stealer, we see the one, the only, Dreams, because without Dreams, how can you possibly want to play Dota? I don't know, that sounded better in my head as well. So anywho, all that aside, as far as things that I expect to see, I expect to see FSM win in the late game. They have some really good early game pressure, and they also have the mid game that can get held down by Prophet, but I really don't think they'll hit their stride until the late game. When you have when you have Tiny with his big items crushing towers, Prophet with his items actually pushing or split pushing while everything else is going on. As far as Autobot5, I do expect them to win the mid game, mainly because they have the Pudge, they have the Timbersaw, they have the Venomancer, which are three very powerful people for the mid game. Late game, Pudge becomes less of an issue. He just becomes a person with a lot of flesh heaps and a lot of HP and just annoying as crap to kill. Venomancer, he just dies, feeds, and free gold. Gold bags here, please. And Rubik, I mean, yeah, Rubik is always relevant, especially when you have a Tiny Stun, which is really nice, or Shadow Shaman Serpent Wards. If Rubik can steal those, if Rubik can steal Shadow Shaman Serpent Wards, he can actually counter push a tower, or maybe throw his wards versus the other wards and have a World War II, because it's two sets of wards and they're having a war. Get it, guys? Come on, that was clever. I'll take that. I'll take whatever laughs I can get for that, and I'll probably get none. I don't really know. I'm just talking to air right now. Or actually, no, I'm talking to people on YouTube for the future. Because I'm a visionary. And speaking of visionary, I envision that these treants will die in 40 seconds. And I'm not just saying that because I see the timer right there in front of me, guys. I'm totally not just saying that. But all around, I mean, everybody's going to be playing standard things by the looks of it. The only outlier is, of course, this Venomancer. And we could be seeing a support Venomancer who just didn't have to buy the wards and curry because Rubik decided to handle all of that. But Rubik's build actually is conducive of a Venomancer who actually built his or built items for everything going. So the reason why I say that is because Ring of Protection is expensive, the Slippers of Agility are expensive, the Healing Salve is expensive. You can't, I mean, like, having all three of those plus some other region shows me that Venomancer didn't actually buy the wards or actually buy the courier. So, stalling time is over. The game is about to be underway. Tango is getting donated towards Timbersaw, and I just got a message, but I can't check it right now because I'm in the middle of a game. Parents actually Prince of Love. So nice. Alright, so items, starting items, because I mean Tiny has a Ring of Health, or not Ring of Health, Ring of Protection, which I think is a little, I mean, it's slightly strange. Tiny doesn't have any armor. His base armor is actually really crappy in the form of, or which goes a long way to say it's essentially 0. But having the extra 2 armor, I don't know if it's going to be as effective as getting a Stout Shield, which I think a Stout Shield might fit him a little bit better. The Ring of Protection can fit in a Tranquil build, but I don't know if Tiny actually goes for Tranquil builds and actually does things well. He could go for Ring of Regen,
The
or Ring of
battle
Regen.
begins.
Could go for Ring of Basilius. Or Basilisk.
Missing
Basilius. Bacilli. Whatever you want to call it. Just for the region, so he can actually have the mana to actually pop an Avalanche or actually pop a Toss, or maybe pop both and get the full combo off. But even still, I don't like the fact that he went for that Ring of Protection. I just don't. Sorry, guys. CulBlu's a hater. Alright, so the lane matchups, we see a dual lane for Vengeful Spirit plus Tiny going up against a tri-lane of some sorts, with the Venomancer plus the Lifestealer plus a Wild Rubik in the jungle. I'm expecting to see a First Blood happen down here because this is a very potent tri-lane on the side of AutoBot5. Of course, the Rubik is scouted out because this Observer Ward placed over here very early, so they will not be playing as forward as they normally would be because they don't want to get caught out. And by that I mean the people on Dire side, which is FSM. Moving on to the top lane, we see a Timbersaw versus a Prophet, and a laning Prophet should be fine, but Timbersaw does have the damage necessary to actually destroy Prophet, so he has to be very careful of that. Moving over mid, we see Shadow Shaman versus a Pudge, and Shaman versus Pudge. I don't see Shaman winning this lane at all. One Pudge hook plus a Rot equals a dead Shaman, so we'll have to see how Mia decides to play Shaman. He has to play very, very, very cautious because he gets caught out once. That's pretty much the end of that lane, and he'll pretty much just lose it completely. And not just because Shadow Shaman doesn't have a lot of HP, but also because, I mean, once Pudge gets a level up on you, I mean, that's pretty much it. You can't really do much except for, you know, pray that he doesn't hook you. And of course, in the jungle, we see Chen getting those centaurs, getting those other creeps, just punching them in the face a few times with his rod of punching. The last hits in the nines are actually in favor of Timbersaw, which I'm actually no, I'm not surprised about that. Timbersaw versus Prophet. I mean, Prophet hits for crap. He hits for, I want to say like 50. Yeah, 57. Timbersaw is blocking 20 damage periodically. Actually, Timbersaw can do much more damage than Prophet before Prophet can. And he's actually getting reactive armor stacks on Timbersaw, so you have to consider that. And Prophet taking so much damage. Luckily, Chin does rotate up top, and Timbersaw is going to be a lot of trouble. Sprout comes out. Timbersaw throws a little bit of damage, but not enough to kill the Prophet. If only Prophet was strength. And the First Blood does go to Prophet because Timbersaw is playing way, way, way too aggressive. And simultaneously, almost at the same exact time, Vengeful Spirit goes down bottom. It looks like she got caught up by, I was about to say she got caught up by a Venomous Gale, but this Venomancer decided not to go for it. Just a Telekinesis plus Open Wounds, and then equals a dead VS. We got Tiny pop himself a Clarity Potion, gonna play it back a little bit. Actually, Chen went down on top. We got another rotation coming in. Pudge, he did get the kill on top of that because we did just hear him yell a few things. And Timbersaw and crew are checking to see if they can find the person who was up here, but no, that person has gone back to base and Captain on that Prophet. He's fine. But yeah, Prophet in lane, I mean, he generally doesn't do much. He can make treants and punch your melee people out of lane, but Timbersaw, he gives 0 explicit words, mainly because he gets a free reactive armor stacks. He also gets the regen coming out from that reactive armor. And he only has 1 bonus of it. And the Whirling Death versus a Sprout from Prophet equals a Timbersaw who can run away. Actually, Prophet kind of hurts himself a little bit because if he sprouts Timbersaw in the wrong way, or if he sprouts in the wrong spot, then Timbersaw can actually Timber Chain to where he wants to go. Some nice synergy coming up from that, even though they're enemies. Synergy in the favor of the Radiant, of course. Bottom lane! We got the lane getting pulled. We got Rubik getting some nice levels. He's level 3, which I think is on par with the VS who's in this lane. Oh, okay, better. Actually, Tiny, he's on par with the Tiny who's in this lane. And Rubik's been getting all his XP from the creeps in the jungle. Lifesteal level 3, Venomancer level 3 as well. So everybody doing well in this tri-lane down bottom. And they also got the, well, they didn't get First Blood, but they got a kill on top of VS, which is just as important as a First Blood. Because any kill you can get in a tri-lane, it's great, because that's what you got the tri-lane for. So in Regen Rune down bottom, Shadow Shaman going to go pick that up. He has to use his bottle charges to his full advantage. It does get scouted out by the Radiant Ward because they do have one on the rune spot. And I actually see Shadow Shaman walking in with 2 illusions. They might think they're just illusions, and they just might just ignore him or let him walk by. But actually, this was Trimea is actually banking on. They do see the damage does go through on top of Shadow Shaman. Shadow Shaman pops a few spells, does a lot of damage to Rubik. Telekinesis from Rubik on top of Shadow Shaman. Shadow Shaman trying to go for blow for blow on top of Venomancer, on top of Rubik. Rubik does finally go down. Shadow Shaman trying to run away. Open Wounds gets thrown down. Man, the Regen Rune is up on Shadow Shaman, but he just can't get any rune to pop it. He does go down. Almost worked out for him there. The rotations were too strong. Now we got Venomance a little bit of trouble. VS got the stun. It's only stun level 2, so it does do a decent amount of damage, but wasn't enough to actually get the kill. And they almost got 2 out of that trade, so FSM losing a Shadow Shaman, claiming a Rubik. I guess it's decent, because the more you can stall Rubik, the more you can stymie the pressure that they can put on you. That's really about it. Oh, of course, by killing Rubik, I meant killing Venomancer. Right. Wait, no, he killed the Rubik. Yeah, he killed the Rubik. Okay, guys, I'm not crazy. The Rubik died. Speaking of people dying up top, we got a dead Prophet. Not the Death Prophet, but a dead Prophet. Because Death Prophet got banned out, guys, don't forget. Trimea, at least he rotated once. He did get a kill, got 1 death as well. Pudge doing a lot better with his rotations. Has 2 kills to his name, 0 deaths. And he also has 2 free flesh heap stacks. Those will be up once he gets that once he gets a points out of that. Let's take a look at the items, because the game has progressed for a little bit. We got a Basilius up on Vengeful Spirit, a Basilius up on Chin.
Radiant's middle tower is not safe.
And we also have a Basilius up on Tiny, so he did decide to go for that region. You can see the region is really nice for Tiny. Oh, okay, he has a Clarity Potion. But it's really nice for Tiny because his abilities cost a lot of mana. He does have a mana pool to pop both of them at least twice. Nope, at least once. That's really bad. He can pop those 2 spells and then that'll be all the mana that he has. So you better make it worth it. Haste Rune gets pinged down bottom by the Venomancer. These guys are waiting around the corner trying to go for another kill. Venomancer does have his Venomous Gale up. Tiny's playing very, very close to his wall. He's pretty much hugging those trees. Those are his best friends right now. And I do mean best friends in a very, very sexual way. Mainly because that Venomancer, if he gets his Venomous Gale off, that's going to be all the setup that Venomancer needs for his telekinesis into a lifesteal open wounds. That's going to be a dead Tiny. Because Tiny gets eaten alive. And now I see why Tiny did go for that Ring of Protection first. Mainly because Tiny has, relatively speaking, at level 1, a lot of HP, and lifesteal he usually gets feast first. And oh my gosh, Pudge once again got a kill. And he got a kill on top of Shadow Shaman. By the looks of it, Shadow Shaman just got caught up with the hook plus rot. That's really all that's needed. Meanwhile, on top we got Prophet trying to run away. Does get hit with that pure damage. 200 and wow, maxing out that Timber Chain. 220 pure damage to Prophet. Which means that Prophet can't do anything but just sit there and take it. And pray that he has enough HP left to keep TPing out. But even if he would have, I think Timbersaw would have had a Whirling Death to finish him off. So the tri-lane for the Radiant doing well. The top lane solo for Timbersaw. He did lose the first blood to his enemies, but he is still doing well. 1-1-1. It's almost like a build from StarCraft. But 1-1-1 up on Timbersaw. 1 kill, 1 death, 1 assist, and we got a rotation coming in from the Chin. They want to go for a kill on top of Timbersaw, but I don't think they can go for the kill with that particular kit. They need a little bit more damage. Timbersaw might decide to be aggressive. He needs to be very careful about that aggression now, because it just might come back to bite him in the butt. And speaking of biting people in the butt, we got Tiny coming very forward. I don't know if they actually want to go for a kill. Vengeful Spirit throws out the Wave of Terror, just to scare him off a little bit. And actually, Tiny goes to the secret shop. He picks up picks up an item. He might be forced to TP out, and he will be forced to TP out. He's going to go TP up top. Pudge actually got an ulti off the top of VS. He had a haste rune, so Tiny was just getting out of dodge before things got a little bit too hairy for him. And they're actually still searching for Tiny. But Tiny's actually up top. They go for the kill. They get the kill on top of Timbersaw, and that kill does go towards Tiny, so that's going to help him out to finish up his drums. Assuming that he's going to be going for those. And now I got a
Radiant's middle tower has fallen.
Is it Firefox? Is Firefox really doing that to me? Come on, Firefox. Don't be like that, bro.
All are healed.
Yeah, that was really Firefox. Anyway, I can close Firefox now. Everything's finished uploading. Pudge got himself a kill. Sorry about that, guys. But Pudge got himself a kill mid on Shadow Shaman. I was close to it. Chin did throw his ulti, but it wasn't enough. Only heals for like 150, I think. Okay, 200. I was close. Round it up, guys. Come on. But only heals for 200. Timbersaw comes forward, does a bunch of damage to Prophet. Prophet forces TP out. Timbersaw does have damage to kill the Prophet. Prophet not able to TP fast enough. And I mean, so far everything is breaking down for FSM. We see Bot5 actually get into the stride, and like I said, the mid game for Bot5 should be excellent for them. Mainly because FSM, they need time to get this farm for late game. Shadow Shaman, I seriously doubt that he'll be able to do much versus Pudge, and that's been the case. Same thing for Prophet. They need him to get his items so he can actually start split pushing. But until that point, until we get to that point in time, there's not really going to be much coming out from FSM. So we're going to have to wait for the late game and see if the Shadow Shaman plus the Vengeful Spirit plus the Chin can hold off all the pressure that they're feeling from Bot5. and not lose too much, because so far no towers have gone down, which is a really good thing. That means the farm is going to be free to farm, or a free place to farm. Maybe not the safest place, but still a free place. Tiny got him. I see an Orb of Venom. No, it's Venomancer, right? Venomancer, Venomous Gale, or Venomancer, Poison Sting. Lifesteal jumps inside of a Pudge, just waiting for Pudge to get a hook. Hook does fly from Pudge. He's using his bottle charge to get another hook here. 5 seconds left for that hook, and whoever gets hooked in is pretty much going to die. Tiny looks like he's going to be a target. The creep, actually no, Vince is going to be a target. She's going to explode here very soon. She does get a stun off on top of Pudge, and Pudge is going to be getting hooked a bunch of stuff. Beautiful Shadow Shaman wards, catching a whole bunch of damage on top of everybody who shows up. Shadow Shaman getting the nukes off. Oh my gosh, beautiful fight from FSM. Really nice coordination, and really what happened there is 5-5 got a little bit too cocky and they got caught out. Shadow Shaman had the perfect surfing wards. Sadly, he will not have those for pushing that tower, but he still has some really good wards. So give credit where credit is due. You see FSM reaching their potential of pushing back in the early game. They have the push from Prophet. They also have the push from Tiny. I forgot his toss. Does hurt towers as well. But I don't know if they'll be able to push it fast enough because the response is coming in here very soon. We got Rubik walking for a mass TP coming on through. Tiny stuns up the Venomancer. Venomancer's ulti does go through. Rubik gonna help him out. Does get the kill. Venomous Gale flies on top of Prophet. These guys overstayed their welcome. Really wishing they had that. Really wishing they had the Shadow Shaman lose. We got a dead Prophet. Shadow Shaman trying to run away. Gets turned into a froggy or piggy chicken. One of those animals. Because Rubik stole it. And that's really about it. I mean, they got the bottom tower. I want to say they got they got the bottom tower, but they lost 3 people for it, which I would say equates to about the same gold. Ooh, I hit the wrong button. Whoops. Anyway. The gold graph shows in favor of FSM, mainly because they got that tower and the gold did shoot back towards them. But you guys can see right there, it was essentially 0 because you get 1,000 gold for killing a tower, and then it went back in their favor after they got the tower. But it's essentially 0 when you count all the kills that they lost. Okay, give or take 400. VS swap is fully intact. She's ready to go for some swap action. Hopefully she'll be able to get a kill. We got Chin creepers plus Prophets stuff all up here pushing things because they're really good at this game. We got Pudge getting the hook on top of Captain. Captain nowhere to run. All he can do is pop his ulti. Chin heal does come through. Actually, Pudge is caught in the corner right now. He will be going down to his creeps. He's actually going to try to deny himself. Does get to deny. Shadow Shaman shows up as well. Top tower does go down. And this is the pushing power coming out from FSM. All attributed to Prophet's treants plus Chin and all his creeps. And this is really what they needed, or this is really what they need. They need Pudge dead, and they also need to be pushing his lanes. Just try to take as much as they can early on, just to give Tiny as much room as freaking possible, because Tiny's going to be a lot of farm. Shadow Shaman wards do go down. They need to focus these creeps, and then they'll focus that tower. They'll wait for those creeps to show up for the backdoor protection to go away. And these Shadow Shaman Surfer wards will be able to help them claim this tower, and should be here before Pudge comes back up. Timbersaw coming around the backside, going to be doing a lot of damage to Chin. He's one right click, and that should be a dead Chin. Actually, beautiful piggy, or beautiful froggy chicken. Animal, one of those animals. Throw on top of Chin. Shadow Shaman will be sacrificing his life, which should be fine. Rubik stole the shackles. But the tower does go down, and I think this is definitely worth it. This is what FSM want to have happen. They want to claim as many towers as they possibly can, while Tiny continues to get his farm, so he can get his Agam Scepter. Timbersaw does go down to the Tiny, and also Rubik went down as well. And yeah, a very scrappy game going back and forth. FSM saying, hey, yeah, we might be losing this early game like this, but hey, we still got this. And we are slowly but surely transitioning to the middle game. Nice. He's been getting his farm, has a hand of mice, actually finds a Invincible Spirit. TP comes from Prophet down bottom. All Lifesteal can do is stand there. They do know that he's in one of these 2 creeps, and they can't do anything but sit there and watch it. VS will be here very soon. The creeps walking forward. I don't know if VS really wants to be here. She has herself a healing salve, so she will be full HP. Lifestealer shows up. I don't think they have enough damage. It's a little bit too close to that tower as well. And Lifestealer Dream's able to make it out of that one. But he almost did go down. I think the only thing that VS could have done in that case was after the Sprout throw a swap. But I mean, you can say what they should have done all you want after the fact. I mean, it's all about that heat of the moment. And speaking of heat of the moment, we got Timbersaw finding himself a Chin. Chin going to lose a whole bunch of HP. Nope, never not lose a whole bunch of HP. But here comes the rotations. Open wounds on top of Chin. Chin going to be getting, oh man, beautiful body block coming up from the crease. Swap from VS does keep alive the Chin, so Chin can live to fight another day. VS is going to be still fighting, and meanwhile on the backside, somebody else is fighting over there, but I can't really tell who it was. I think this is Lifesteal. I don't know. That's Timbersaw. Timbersaw going to be going down around this corner. Somebody else went down around the other corner. Venomancer went down around the other corner. Tiny using those drum charges, trying to run away. He gets a stun, gets a nice little toss. Lifesteal taking so much damage. Toss from Rubik on top of Tiny. Might be forced to pop the ulti. Pudge able to get the kill because this is a very stinky chicken. Must be rotten. We also got Xiao Xiao dropping the Surfer Wall, so that will be no damage coming towards the tower. And Chen has no creeps left. Chen has no creeps left under his control to actually push this tower. So I do think the Surfer Wars were overkill for that, and they could have stayed that for the tower and just got that easily. But they're pinging those Prophet Treants, saying, hey, get this Treants to that tower. And the push is strong with these ones. The counter push for AutoBot5, it's only there if Timbersaw can get his ulti off and then pull it back in. Or if Venomancer can get a nice little glob of these little plague lords. That's really easier said than done. Meanwhile, on the other side, we got Prophet split pushing because he's a baller. Gonna force Dreams to stand here and just kill these creeps. Wouldn't be surprised if Dreams uses ulti and Prophet get himself a little bit more gold. DC from the game. Coming out from one of the commentators on another channel. I think they're commentating in a different language. I'm not too sure, guys. I'm not too sure. Alright, so taking a look at the items because things have gone really, really well for FSM in the past 5 minutes. You can see the gold graph is heavily in their favor. It's running away in their favor, mainly because of those towers. And if you want to count up the towers, FSM have lost 0 towers on the dire side. AutoBot5, they have lost 5, actually they lost 4 towers. So it's about 1,000 gold in favor for FSM, actually 2,000 gold in favor of FSM, just out of farm plus hero kills. If you take towers out of the equation, this game's a little bit closer than it seems, but all that said, the items on FSM should be a lot better, and if we look at the items, we can see that that is in fact the case. We got Xiao Xiao working on the Aghanim Scepter, we got a Hand of Midas up on Prophet, he's working on Necro Book for heavy push. Ag's coming up on Tiny because that's what Tiny wants to build for carry style. Chin has that mechanism, and we also got no, never mind. We just got a lot of pieces for the Ags purchased up by Xiao Xiao. Actually, a wrong person. Xiao Xiao is going to have that in one piece. One more piece. And once he does have that, it's going to be splash damage for the it's going to be splash damage for his wards. And we got a hook from Pudge, does fly on top of a creep. Pudge's going to be very sad about that, running away while he can. Moving to the side of the Radiant, we see that Hand of Midas is up on Lifesteal, so Lifesteal can actually go fight. Actually, speaking of going for a fight, we got Xiao Xiao got himself a chicken on top of Pudge, and Pudge will be going down through the fire and the flames. He dies on. Venomancer ulti does go through. I don't know if there's any more damage to follow on the backside. We got Timbersaw doing some pure damage, hitting everybody for quite a bit. Chin pops his mechanism. He does have his ulti. He's going to pop it now, or otherwise he's going to die. Does pop his ulti, does still go down on Timbersaw. Not going to be able to do too much to survive from that. And at the end of the day, 2 for 2, a Venomancer and a Pudge for a Chin and a Shadow Shaman. I honestly would say it was worth it, because Shadow Shaman didn't have mana for his ulti anyway. And there was really no creep wave push towards the tower, so it's not really all that big of a waste, to be honest. And oh, by the way, you have Prophet pushing another lane, because that's what Prophet does. He just split pushes like a baller. Timbersaw one piece away from his Bloodstone, and once usually when Timbersaw's build a Bloodstone, after they finish it, I mean, it's pretty much, they just don't die. I don't know if that'll be the case for this game, because there's a Tiny, and Tiny can just explode a Timbersaw, as in, like, you know, avalanche toss and then throw a few right clicks. We won't see that happen here. Actually, no. We will see some of that happen here, but Tiny getting Timbersaw down to half HP. And looks like Timbersaw still wants to fight. He's trying to go for some more harassment damage. Shadow Shaman does have the shackles. The shackles will not latch in time, but if it would have, oh my dear Jesus, Timbersaw would have been more than just dead. Pudge was here with the hook, actually, so he might have been able to hook the Timbersaw away, or maybe hook Shadow Shaman in to go for the easy kill. And the push is going to continue happening mid. Pudge lining up a hook on that high ground. Does get scouted out by a creep. The hook does fly. Hook a little bit too short. And down bottom we got, what's Prophet doing? Pushing a lane, because that's what he does. Oh no, wait, is this... Okay. Treants plus these little plague wards. Pushing that lane as well. Lifesteal trying to get some farm. Too many trees in the forest. Can't see past it. Lifesteal has himself a armlet. I really do think he needs to go ahead and get that on him, because he's going to need it for this fight that's coming, because we got the whole entire Dire Squad running all up in the jungle. Pudge looking for a hook, Tiny looking for an avalanche to throw on top of Pudge. Tiny just saying, bro, I dare you to hook me in. They might want to go for Lifesteal. The stun does fly from Tiny. Lifesteal not able to hit it in time. The pulse from Chin. Tactical pulse is tactical. And Pudge does miss his hook. Looks like we got Chin going to be standing in. Actually, no, Chin got hit with the hook. It's kind of weird. Yeah, Chin got hit with the hook. He's actually flying. I didn't know it was like a little anim, or I didn't know it put a debuff on you. It says get over here. I would check out the log, but last time I checked out the log during the game, it DC'd me. And speaking of DC, we got Lifesteal DCing, and that's what the issue was. And the question is, what will be the follow-up response? We got the whole, both sides, all in this one little spot. A gaggle of heroes ready to kill each other and slit each other's throats and throw hooks in your skin and hit you with magic missiles and shackle you to death and throw some massive surfer wars and throw other minions to go punch in the face. So much violence, guys. This game is so violent. Oh yeah, right. And there's a timber saw with the whirling death. I mean, it's called whirling death for goodness sakes. That sounds like a healthy thing for kids, right? That's a kid's toy. It's only a kid's toy. I'll buy that. I bought it for my niece for Christmas. It's called Whirling Death for Kids. You know, it has like rounded edges. It also has a nice little foam core, so if they happen to like put their hand in the middle of it while spinning, you know, it won't hurt them. And if they happen to put their hand on it while spinning on the outside, it will just like, you know, kind of sort of leave a scar, but it won't be deep enough to where the blood comes out. So they know, hey, you shouldn't do that. Yeah, I know, guys. That's a horrible thing. Oh, look, and Tiny has a snowball made out of rocks. Yep, this is definitely a kid's game. Anywho, as far as the items on the map, we see the items are continuing to become more and more impressive. We got Lifestealer. He has his armor. I was about to say working on a. What's the thing called? Veil of Discord. I was like, no, that's silly. How would Lifestealer work on Veil of Discord? I thought a daggone. Lifestealer has his hand in mind, needs to have a bot to him. Shadow Shaman, one piece away from his Agony Receptor. After this fight, if he's alive, I think Shadow Shaman will most definitely have the gold for it. Because he'll be able to get the tower kill, plus maybe 1 or 2 assists, if not kills, for himself. We got Prophet, he has his Necro 3, or Necro 2 in the inventory. Vincent Spirit has items to survive. She's working on a pipe of insight by the looks of it. We got a mechanism already up on Chin, and Chin is working on a Necro book of his own. So the push is heavy with this team on FSM. That is what is working for them, and they know for a fact if they just suffocate Lifesteal as much as they possibly can, just, you know, while he's young, still in the crib, just suffocate him and not let him grow up into a nice, respectful young gentleman and end his life there. Oh man, this sounds horrible. Man, I'm such a horrible person. Jeez. I'm sorry, guys. Anyway, long story short, if they just give Lifesteal no room to farm, then he's not going to be able to farm, which means that he's not going to be able to do anything. Later on, when FSM come knocking on the door of those tier 3s, because there's only 2 outer towers left, and this outer tower at the bottom lane is looking very, very, very in danger. Alright, so other things to mention around the map, let's take a look at the vision, because I love looking at the vision, but I never do it when I'm casting. The vision of the Radiant is actually really good. They scouted out that the whole entire Dire Squad are walking on down through here. If I could, oh, I can't draw. Can't draw as paused. Or I can't. You won't see the drawing show up on the minimap or on the end game. You see the minimap. But they saw the whole entire Dire Squad show up, walk on down through there, through the minimap, and that's how they knew that hey, something's going on. Lifesteal was just standing still for a few seconds, so they had to go pause. And I would say tactical pause is tactical, but Seeker threw the hook and then they paused. Chin got hooked up. Chin got hooked on them drugs, you know. Got hooked on that rot. Got hooked on all that flab coming up from Pudge. Moving on mid, the vision for the Radiant is still really nice. You can see it. They can see pretty much anybody coming into their areas of attack. They can see all the directions of attacks, with the slight exception of this area over here, which is a very important area. Not a lot of people place wards over here, but you can place a ward right about there and see anybody who's walking through here. It's a really nice place to place a ward, and the same thing goes for the other side. I mean, this side is, the middle of the jungle is really about it, which is essentially the same vision you get from here. But you can at least see what direction it's how to go to, because a lot of teams like to walk into your jungle, kill a few creeps, and then walk mid and push that lane. It's like the nature of people. They just like to go mid. And also, another place to place an offensive observer ward is right about here where you see this little thing right there. That's kind of why they have it. Place like right there, in that general spot. And on the other side, of course, there's a super high ground ward you place right there. So there's some nice little warding tips. And also, if you can't make it that far into the jungle safely, you can place one right there, right in front of that camp, because people like to farm there on the Dire side. And if you can't make it that far, placing one right there would be just as fine, because a lot of the angles of attack from the middle lane come from this general area. Like, you'll be surprised how many people decide to walk all the way from their base into this like creep camp over here, kill that, and then walk all the way over here to this general area, and then stop right there and just wait for a hook. And when team fight about to happen, let's go ahead and hide out this grass. We see a swat coming up from Visual Spirit, catches on top of one person, Pudge gets turned into a piggy, Surfing Wars do get thrown down, a lot of damage coming to our Seer. Seer's going to be the first, the second one to die, VS did be the first one to die. Venomance again tossed in by Tiny, he does not want to be here, does get hit with the pin, is coming up for Chin, Chin goes down, coming up the Rolling Death, Venomance is down on the other side, treants everywhere, blood and guts and stuff everywhere. At the end of the day, Bot5 do lose this fight. And Bot 5,
Radiant's bottom
ironically, lose their
tower
bottom
has
tower, which is their 5th tower that they lost. See what I did there, guys? That transition? Anyway, Timbersaw buys back. I really don't think it's a necessity for Timbersaw to buy back, but they do need somebody to defend, and Lifesteal is definitely going to cut the mustard.
Dire's top
Because he
tower
cuts mustard.
isn't well at the moment.
So I got Jump of Endurance getting popped by Tiny. They want to hurry up and push this tower while they can, while 3 people are dead. Timbersaw did buy back, don't forget, so that means he's not going to be getting any gold, or any reliable gold coming out, or sorry, any unreliable gold coming out from the creeps. But he will get reliable gold, which is hero kills and tower kills. Necro 3 up on Prophet. So for anybody wondering what Necro 3 does, it gives you minions that are OP and then push really hard. And also one of them has Mana Burn and True Sight, and it's very annoying to be a invis person, or a person who has a Shadow Blade or something like that, or a built-in invisibility, versus somebody with a Necro book, because it's like, oh my god, they can see me. I don't want to be seen. Run away. Pudge 9 flesh heap stacks. He's looking for a hook on top of his Prophet. He has to know where the Prophet is, and Prophet using those treants to their fullest without even knowing it, blocking a few lanes. Sees a Timbersaw around the corner, and Timbersaw, he almost has himself a Bloodstone. Still 1 piece away from it. Still 1 piece away from it. If he wouldn't have bought back, I think he might have had it, because I think his buyback is pretty darn expensive. Yeah, 709. It was probably about 700 when he bought back. Combine that with the gold that he has now, that's about 1,100 gold, which is exactly what he needs to get that last piece, which is a vitality booster. And of course, it'll require him to disassemble his boots and or arcane boots, and then probably transition to boots of travel, and you get the technicality. You guys know that. So we got a Shadow Blade coming up on Venomancer, despite the fact that Prophet has a Necro 3. I'm not too sure if that's the best of ideas, but speaking of the best of ideas, we got Prophet. He's TPing back to base, gonna probably use a TP scroll to get back towards that Roshan pit. I don't know if he wants to go for Rosh or not, but we see the whole entire Dire side running towards the Roshan pit, so it might force the Radiant to walk there when they really don't want to or need to. Prophet did an excellent job of spreading out his treants, giving him nice little vision, sentries in the jungle, plague wars as well, all around the place. That's not Prophet. Oh, sorry, wrong person, wrong team. Anyway, Prophet did a really good job of spreading out his treants. There we go, they're over here. A general spread. Okay, fine. And he's gonna go push this top lane because that's what he does. Just pushing top lanes. Timbersaw getting scouted out. They're pinging mid. They're gonna go for a smoke and kill very soon because that ping did come from Pink, and they want to go for some kills. The courier's coming in. The smoke will be dropped here soon. Boom goes the smoke. And we gotta be very quiet, guys, because smoke is gonna happen and people are gonna die. Pudge looking for a hook. Hook does fly. Catches a wild VS who can actually swap out, but she won't be able to swap out this time. Actually, no, she will be able to. She's still alive. Does turn around, throw on a right click, and goes down. The smoke is revealed, though. That's the only bad thing about that. And all they got for their troubles was a VS who dies anyway when the team fight breaks out. But at least they won't have any swap to deal with. And now Venomancer going to walk past the Shadow Shaman. Shadow Shaman getting the shackles on top of him. They want to go for the fight. Tiny's going to show up to explode the Venomancer. Has his Aghanim shot to it as well. A lot of damage coming towards Venomancer. Venomancer ulti did go through, so he is useful still. And he landed on Tiny and also he's landed on Shadow Shaman. And Shadow Shaman, Rubik stole the Ether Shot from the Shaman, so he'll be able to counter push a little bit. And speaking of counter push, we got a Prophet split pushing while everybody else is doing what they do. Oh my gosh, Pudge with the hook, catching a Shadow Shaman all by his lonesome. The kill does go on top of Shadow Shaman. Rubik able to pick up the kill on top of that. Pudge killing himself to death right now. Tiny finishes off the last part. Rubik lifts the Tiny, pulls him down to the low ground so they can actually run away. I do think they could have stood there and fought that one, because nobody was really all that close, and they actually gave Tiny a nice little escape route. I want to say that Rubik should have been a little more aggressive with his toss down and use his spell steal. Use a spell steal on Tiny, or like throw Ether Shock, use spell steal, steal Tiny's Avalanche, which I think was the last ability he used, and if not, toss anyway. Any other damage, throw on top of him, and let Timbersaw do the rest. Or let Timbersaw's ulti do the rest. Bloodstone finished up by Timbersaw, finally having to go for that. And now we just have to see how many charges he can actually get. TP does come on top from Prop. He's going to continue playing the pushing game. Chin working on his Necro level 2, which he will have that recipe up in, you know, like 1,000 more gold. Meanwhile, we got the Dire assembling up top. Will they be able to find something? Pudge Blink Dagger catches the Prophet all by his lonesome, but he's not all by his lonesome. There's a whole bunch of people here. VS swaps Pudge into the middle of everything. Nice little Centaur stuns come on through. Lifesteal throws out the open moves on top of the VS, and VS does take a lot of damage, but that's really about it. I mean, the only thing that lost was a Pudge who blanked forward, so Pudge reveals the fact he has a Blink Dagger. Also reveals the fact that he's dead, because he's dead. And now they eat a tree so they can let Venomancer run away. Venomancer decides to go invisible and try to stand there and be a man, but not going to be a man enough. He's actually a Magus. Meanwhile, we got Chin running away, trying to use his creeps to body block, uses a net on top of Lifestealer. Has a net. He should have another net here very soon. Timbersaw plus Lifestealer will be going all in on top of this Chin, and Lifestealer has a Basher, so that's going to be a really excellent item for him to have. Meanwhile, Prophet TPing out. Timbersaw almost able to get the damage off, but not fast enough. Surfer Wars Ward drops mid in the midst of all this craziness, and that's the last outer tower for Bot5. And it's getting to the late game. Tiny has his Axe. He's working on a Shadow Blade, which I don't agree with, but more attack speed, whatever. I do think Tinies that go for a Manta style are a lot better than any other Tinies, mainly because AC Tiny, yeah, it gives you attack speed and gives you negative armor on top of people, but the Manta style gives Tiny armor, which helps Tiny stay in the fight a lot longer. Actually, I'll take it back, because technically the AC gives Tiny armor, which helps Tiny stay in the fight a lot longer. But anywho, Tiny will have the active ability to give himself more illusions. His illusions will deal more damage. The Manta style will give him the extra raw HP as well, which is something that the AC doesn't give you. It doesn't give you raw HP. Don't forget that. Haha, totally saved my face. So at the end of the day, Shadow Blade Tiny, I don't agree with. AC Tiny, I think, is less superior to a Manta style Tiny. But nonetheless, this Tiny's going to be going for Shadow Blade, and they're going to go for Roshan because he needs Aegis. Drop that magic wand and pick yourself up an Aegis and be happy with yourself. So Roshan going to be getting beat up here very soon. A few spells getting stolen.
Mighty Dire claimed Roshan's
Anyway, Aegis goes to Tiny. Tiny actually sells his Basilius, which I think was a mistake. I still do think Tiny needs the Basilius to actually do stuff. The magic wand heals you a little bit and also gives you like some mana, but I still think the passive regen that you get from Basilius is a little bit better. The magic wand, oh, and also gives you 3 stats. So, okay, 3 to all attributes versus armor and regen. I guess it's fine. I guess it's fine. Okay, good choice, Tiny. I'll give you credit where credit's due. Good choice. But still, the more armor, the better, especially versus Lifestealer. Like I said before, Feast versus Tiny usually destroys him, or Feast versus any strength-based hero usually destroys him because Lifestealer will do 7% of your maximum HP as damage, and I don't know if that's pure damage, just HP removal. I want to say that's HP removal. I really don't know if that's HP removal or just damage, because if it's damage, then the armor will help you reduce that. But anyway, nonetheless, if Tiny keeps getting hit with a Feast, like if he gets hit with Feast a whole bunch of times, it's going to lose a whole bunch of HP. Of course, it diminishes as Tiny's HP becomes less and less and less. Actually, hold on, is it maximum? Yeah, current, right, it's just current HP. But of course, Feast does less and less for Lifesteal and also does less and less damage to you as you lose HP. But if you have a lot of armor, then it'll take you a lot more to actually finally kill you and end your life. And Lifestealer will just feel sad because he'll do his 103 plus 73 damage, and that's about it. But Venomancer are working on Shadow Blade like I stated before. Pudge looking for a hook. Shadow Shaman actually invisible. Nobody has any detection. I don't think they have any need to have any detection here. They don't. I mean, it's an invis rune picked up by Shadow Shaman. But Shadow Shaman's going to get 6th position. He will be able to get a war trap. Tiny's going to come in right where he wants to be. Those are the Ambulances. Those are the Toss. Catches 3 people all at once, and Lifesteal is the only one to survive, but just barely survived. If they would have caught all 3, that would have been more disastrous than what it was. But I really do think this is going to be the final, or the first of the final 3 pushes coming out from FSM. All they're going to do is claim the last 3 towers. And if they do go for a team fight here and they do win, actually they will be able to get the kill on Rubik. Rubik stole a toss. That's not what he wanted. Getting hit with all kinds of CC. Chain stun Dota. The GGs just might come out here very soon. But Tiny and Surfer Wars plus crew are going to casually demolish all these things. Look at Tiny just whacking away at the tower. Just demolishing everything. Ambulance falls on top of Timbersaw. Timbersaw pops a Blade Mail. Does a little bit of damage to Shadow Shaman. Shadow Shaman taking a whole bunch of damage coming out from the tower. Timbersaw trying to do what he can to kill the Tiny, but Tiny's doing what he can to kill the Timbersaw, and this is definitely working much more effectively than what Timbersaw was trying to do. Chin throwing on his heel. Tiny still has Aegis, so he doesn't care. Hook from Pudge does pull the Tiny back in. Holy crap, really nice play. Coming up from the hook caught Tiny and pulled Tiny from base back into the dangerous area. And actually, oh my gosh, Pudge with another great hook, catches the Tiny, pulls him back into vision range. The stun coming out on top of Tiny from the Basher, coming out from Lifestealer. And Tiny does go down, so they bring down the Goliath. They bring down the giant stone giant. Is that redundant? They bring out Tiny, the stone giant. That's not less, well, that's contradictory. Anyway, yes, well played indeed. Well played indeed. That hook was so clutch, it's not even funny. And yes, they did just reverse a fountain hook. Pudge got himself a kill on top of VS, I think. Yep, got himself a kill on top of Vengeful Spirit, and it looks like they are able to, you know, live to fight another day, but they only got one tower, one Rax left. The other tower and the other Rax is just casually getting taken down by Prophet, who's just, you know, just sitting there, having fun, having a good old time, just Necro units plus Treants, plus probably more Treants, because he can do that twice and have them up for, I think it overlaps for like 16 seconds or something like that. Yeah, Treants last for 60 seconds, the cooldown is 37 seconds, so if you do the math for that, it's like 23 seconds, so it's a little bit off. Taking a look at the net worth, because I haven't looked at that in forever. Actually, I haven't looked at it ever. The net worth shows that Tiny and Prophet are at the top of the graph, which is not what you want to see when you're behind. Actually, they just got a kill on top of Shadow Shaman, who was forced to drop his ulti, which means that this tower will be safe for roughly like 100 seconds. Yeah, about 40 seconds when Shadow Shaman's actually back up. What, really? Okay, so apparently there's a rule where you can't kill people in Fountain. Reverse Fountain hook equals new bug. So he followed me into the fountain. Yes, he followed me by the will of a hook. Anyway, enough of the game, enough of what's in there. We got Pudge, Blink Dagger. Actually, it's really all to his name. Blink Dagger Power Treads. Flesh Heap stacks are really what's keeping him alive in a lot of these fights. And also it's helping out with the magic damage coming his way from Shadow Shaman and also from Prophet's ulti and VS's Magic Missile. Tiny does find a Pudge. Pudge just might be a launch. Oh, Pudge getting hit with the stun coming out from Tiny. Getting hit with a whole bunch of damage, just trying to make it to the secret shop. Or maybe just trying to make it away. Just trying to run away. Tiny moving faster crap. He did in fact go for a Yasha, so he will be going for the Mantis style after all, but he did go for Shadow Blade first for that extra initiation power, which is fine. It's fine. It's totally fine. I still do think a Shadow Blade is not as superior, of course, that's a Mantis style, but then again, you do have to consider the fact that Tiny has to close that gap, and using the Shadow Blade to close that gap is perfect for him. Also, he can also use a Blink Dagger, but Blink Daggers are a little bit more risky. So double Surfer Lord is getting thrown down. Actually, Surfer Lord, yeah, double Surfer Lord is getting thrown down. Aghanim plus Refresher. Actually, Rubik stole these Surfer Lords and throws them down. He does have the normal Surfer Lords, actually the new fancy ones. And we got wards on wards just going against each other. We got the Surfer Lords for Shadow Shaman, of course, winning the fight because they have Ags upgrades. Meanwhile, people are dying in the fountain. Creeps are dying.
Is under attack.
And Timbersaw wants a pause. The Rax is going down. This is going to be like the permanent pause here if they do lose the stand. They're going to go for the middle Raxes. They're going to go for the Ancient as well. Tiny has all the damage in the world. And I did want to make a note about this, but we got craziness happening at the very end. I should have talked about this in the boring times. But we got Timbersaw exploding, getting caught with a bunch of damage. Lifesteal is the only one left alive. The Ancient going to be getting focused. What is this coming up from Timbersaw? People are still fighting from the fountain. Tiny coming forward, trying to get the kill on top of getting ready to force him back to the fountain. The game ends, Ancient explodes, and that is it. GG, well played, coming out from both sides. And also coming out from the other commentators. And that is it for this game, guys. So, there you have it. We have FSM, the team that I don't remember the name of. They're going to be victors for this match, and they'll be moving on to the next round of whatever next round there is. Like I said, this is a random tournament. I don't really know what tournament this is for, but I hope you guys enjoyed the cast. My name is CulBlu, and I'll see you guys whenever.